Guys, I'm messing up, I think. The beans are burnt. Hi everyone, I'm Jericho, and I am here for another experiment. Okay, so I've been experimenting about beer recently, but now I'm going back to coffee. Alright, so what I have here is a kilogram of green coffee beans. Right, I have 3 Palakape cups in here. Well, I'm just planning to put my beans here, like on each container. Now, why 3? Because what I'm gonna do now is, for the first time, try roasting. So, home roasting of coffee. Okay, so what I have here is an induction cooker. I found this like metal pan, and I'm not sure if it's the best choice for this, but we're gonna try. This is an experiment anyway. And I have also my weighing scale. Okay, this is just a scoop, my trusty scoop. So what I'm planning is to roast to roast coffee in 3 stages. All right, so 3 batches and then 3 roast types or roast stages. One is dark roast, another one is medium roast, and another one is light roast. 100 grams each. Okay, now the reason for that is because I just want to try small batches because this is the first time I'm doing this, and I also would like to have a good and like an easy to calculate number. Like I start from 100 and we're gonna measure the beans again. Okay, like after roasting we're gonna measure the beans again to check the amount that's lost, like the moisture and the gases that are formed due to the roasting. I'm gonna start with the dark roast because it's the one that completes all the stages. So I want to have a feel of each stage already so that when I go back to the next roast, which is the medium roast, I know what is the length in between the first crack and the second crack, and then also to the light roast, I would have an expectation of how long it takes for the first crack to finish. So I got the beans from my roaster in Baguio, and this is Benguet from Tuba Benguet. I have other choices, but I chose the Tuba Benguet coffee because of the price and my familiarity as well with the taste of coffee coming from Tuba Benguet. It smells like soil. How do you like that? Or like mungo. It smells like mungo. Now, turn this on. Should I say hot pot or saute? Saute? Or no, fry. Okay, fry. There. So that's 100 grams of green coffee beans. Wish me luck, guys. And I also use a whisker to stir it. I watched like a few videos of home roasting, and one of the videos I watched gave this as a tip to use this to stir. Oh, it's getting burnt already. So yeah, I forgot, I keep on talking, but you actually have to like stir it as much as you can because it's delicate. As you can see, I already see like burnt surfaces already. No, wait. Okay, this is very clumsy. Okay, concentrate. So I think that's the first crack. Like I hear first crack. Guys, I'm messing up, I think. The beans are burnt. My beans look so bad. I'm gonna show you. It's so uneven. I'm still collecting the beans that fall off is because I want to make sure that, you know, it could be like ewy or messy. It falls to the floor and stuff, but I'm just trying to make sure that my measurement for, you know, for the amount of moisture and gas loss from the beans is more accurate. So I'm seeing here like there are a bunch of burnt beans, but there are still those that are not, like, still close to green. Okay, so this is a failed first experiment. I think I know what to do. Like, turn on the heat and then turn it off, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. So basically, try to control the temperature that way. It is burnt. Okay, so that didn't work out well. Now, but we have our lessons learned. But just to note, I weighed the final coffee, and that's about 80 grams. So that's 20% loss from the original weight. Okay, let's try another one. Timer starts now. Okay. Oh, and by the way, I consumed like 15 minutes. So 15 minutes of burning coffee. Alright, so now let's try. So I think I'm getting the hang of it. Like, I will turn it on. I'll turn on the heat for like 10 seconds, and then I'll turn it off again and wait for, and keep on stirring until I notice that they're kind of in the same level of roast. Hey. So there's a toddler passing by, so that's why the camera is shaking a little bit.
Can I go to the video?
Yeah, of course. But don't make too much noise if I'm explaining stuff, alright? Okay, then turn it on again. Turn it again. I'm cooking it, so I'm roasting it. So this is green beans.
No wonder why.
You know the one I drink coffee, that I prepare for coffee, those are already roasted.
Oh, I want to
This
eat the
one,
rotten.
these are beans that are not roasted, and I'm roasting it.
I want to eat the
Just like
rotten.
when you cook popcorn, so that's what I'm doing. No joke, but after 1.5 hours. Can you believe it? 1.5 hours. So I'm saying this is a dark roast, but it didn't really crack like the cracking sound I was expecting. I wasn't there. Alright, so this one now is 81.6 grams. Okay, let me just take note of that. How it looks on the inside. Still pretty brittle. It seems like it's dark on the outside, but inside it's like medium roast. Actually light to medium roast. Okay, this one is dark all throughout. Now, I'm gonna let this cool down. Let's just consider it as a dark roast. Now, let's begin another batch. I'll try the medium roast. The method I'm thinking is I'm gonna set this to the soup setting, which I think has like a lower heat input. That's the beauty of experimentation. You learn from mistakes, and if you learn from mistakes, it's easier to remember the lessons. Whew. Okay, so time elapsed is 33.5 minutes. So I feel like the first crack finished. Okay, and I hear a bit of crack several minutes after, and so I'm just assuming that's the start of the second crack. The weight loss is fewer here because the final weight is 82.5 grams. Let me just check the inside of some beans. So brittle. Okay, looks light. What I did was 30 seconds or less for the soup setting of this induction cooker, and then 30 seconds to a minute of the power off. Alright, so I got 100 grams last batch, last experiment for the day. So the first minute I actually just let it on since the pan is significantly cooled, and then after that first minute I'm gonna turn this off and then do the alternate of heat on, heat off, heat on, heat off. Okay, so I can already hear the first crack going on. Okay, so there's an announcement from the barangay officials because tomorrow there will be stricter lockdown implementation here in the Philippines, in Metro Manila specifically. Okay, last one. 30 seconds with this. I'm comparing it to the others. Okay, so I'm declaring this my light roast. Stop. So that's about 17 minutes. Let me just take note of that. Final weight is 85.4 grams, 85.3 grams. Okay. Oh, very brittle. Yeah, so dark on the rightmost, medium at the center, and light at the left. So there, those are my roasted coffee, and I'm gonna cup them tomorrow. Okay, so this is the next day, but still within 24 hours since I roasted the coffee, the very inconsistent roast. And what I'm gonna do right now is to cup, all right, taste the coffee. I have this notebook where I will take note of the taste of the coffee. So, like the aroma, the flavor, aftertaste, acidity, body, balance, sweetness, clean cup, and uniformity. So those are the things I'm gonna take note of. And then I have my weighing scale, of course. I have my manual grinder with me just because I took it outside. And I have 3 cups. So these are my roasted coffee beans. So dark, medium, and light. And then 3 cups where I will put the ground coffee and then water to, to cup to taste the coffee. Basically, what I'm gonna do is have this temperature to 93 degrees Celsius, and then I'm gonna start cupping. So about 10 grams of coffee, but I will only put 8.25 grams on this cup. Now I'm gonna determine, based on how easy it is to grind, whether I did have a dark roast, a medium roast, and a light roast. But I said this should be dark roast, right? But it's difficult for me to grind like this. So that's an indication that I didn't roast it really dark. Like, it's just that the outside of the beans got burned easily because of high heat. So this is gonna be a problem, man. And then put 8.25 grams of ground coffee. So I'll just make it 9. Cover it. So I'm gonna take note of the aroma of the dry ground coffee. It smells very earthy, actually. Like it's still close to the green beans smell. A hint of like the very, very minuscule smoke and mild nutty smell. Now I'm gonna add 150 grams. I have a feeling this is gonna be a disaster. Alright, so I'm gonna start the timer. Now it says here after 3 to 5 minutes, that's when I break the crust, and so I start recording the next category. So that is the aroma for the wet coffee, and then after 8 to 10 minutes, that's when I start taking note of the other categories, like the flavor, aftertaste, acidity, etc. Alright, so it's about 3 minutes since I wet the coffee. Now let's start smelling it. So it didn't really float. Let me just smell it. It smells like tea, honestly. I mean, there's that smell that gives you an idea there is some sweetness in there. I didn't really have to break the crust because the coffee didn't float. Okay, so about 8 minutes in. Let me just taste this. You gotta do the slurp. So let me try my best. Okay, take note of that. Has this fibrous taste, actually, like leafy flavor to it, bordering on paper. You know what I'm saying? That like earthy flavor, just very, very slight nutty flavor. There seemed to be no acidity at all. Aftertaste, it doesn't. It's not that long, but you know the flavor that I described earlier lingers. The body is like low, it's watery. That's the term. Let me try it again. The sweetness is there though, like yeah, like having molasses, something like that. So this explains a lot because as I mentioned, I was too cautious. It took me like 1.5 hours to roast, and then the insides are still not that roasted. And I mentioned about not hearing much of the cracking sound. So that's because the input, the heat input is pretty low. Like it's inconsistent and it's not high enough for the beans to undergo cracking. This is a very low score. I already got 10 grams of the medium roast. Let's see. It's difficult, but it has a similar difficulty as the first one, so really exposing how wrong I was. Alright, I'm back, and let me just say that the aroma for dry and wet is almost the same as the previous one. So I just wrote here the same, and put the same scores. Now let's try to flavor. I just want to say though that there's almost no bitterness in it. This has a more burnt taste. No, not burnt really, but smoky. More smoky flavor. Mostly the same again. And as I mentioned, the acidity is not there. Although the body is just a bit better. This is just like ever so slightly better than the first one. Let's try again for the last roast, which is the light roast. Now this is interesting. I would say it would taste like leaves. Okay, let's see how difficult the grinding operation is. Oh my god. Ah! I'm gonna destroy my grinder. Okay, so after that difficult struggle with the grinding of my light roasted coffee, I already sense the aroma. It's pretty much the same, except that when I wet this already, it smells sweeter. They're not really distinguishable. Alright, so I just finished cupping, okay, all the three. There's really no sense into cupping them again after a few days because obviously the roast is wrong, or was wrong. So let me end this vlog on this note that thank you so much for your time. This has been Jericho / Palakape, and you have seen how not to roast your coffee at home. Bye!